Now, I know you see the title, and forewarning, this one's going to get a bit ranty. Hold on to your butts. What's up, everybody? Lawler here, inside source for all things Rocket League. Going to be talking about a conversation that we actually started to get a bit ranty about on stream the other day. Stream every day, but Tuesday and Sunday, twitch.tv/Lawler. Come hang out with us. A lot of these conversations are basically derived from conversations that are going on in chat, and then sometimes one person just says that thing and it strikes a nerve, and I'm like, all right, I'm muting the music, turning everything down low, and I'm going in. And this conversation came from a multitude of things, but primarily it's the focus of why exactly now of all times is organizations of massive prolific status starting to join the RLCS. Why are organizations starting to join now instead of last season and everything else? And it led into the conversation of two parts that we're going to talk about. Number one, exactly that. Why are they joining? My thoughts, my takes as to why now is a really enticing time to get into Rocket League. And number two, what it means and the mentality that needs to shift when it comes into the RLCS as a whole. This kind of goes hand in hand. If you guys didn't see me talking about double elimination, why I didn't like it, this kind of goes along with that and the whole there's so many extra lives kind of mentality. So let's start with part one. Let's talk about why I think organizations are joining the RLCS. First and foremost, I think right now Rocket League is more enticing than it's ever been. 5 years is usually the perfect mark in an esport of, hey, we've gone through the trials and tribulations, we've gotten through the hurdles, we've learned from our mistakes. Now is how we start to move forward. You're also, I think, talking about kind of the perfect timing with the pandemic. The pandemic obviously has made a lot of people have to stay inside and consume content, and Rocket League has continued to keep that little train moving. Good on you, RL Esports team. But the difficulty that it had last year was the fact that we had no live events. There was no celebration. It was the same mundane, same format, same this, same regional, same team, same. And it was super boring, and people got over it. But after getting a little bit of We Play Invitational love and seeing some things with the Intel World Open, no matter how poorly it was handled and scheduled and organized, and it was bad. But it gave people that sense of, I am so excited for this next season. And then you pair it with the massive announcement that came with it. You talk about Stockholm, Sweden, and the intentions to go back to LAN. You talk about a refinement process where you still give the organizations a little bit of a chance to showcase and broadcast themselves on the day one broadcasts, even though it's the main event. You do a lot of different things that enable teams, if they would like to spend the money, ways to showcase and emphasize, hey, we're in the RLCS. We're a name you should recognize. You should pay attention to our team. And giving teams that opportunity is a really big deal. It's something that was absolutely crucial about the grid's implementation, and I think a lot of other esports in the future might possibly steal it. I think Call of Duty would do extremely well from taking team-based like broadcasts or days that they give and allocate. Same thing with battle royales, considering battle royales have so many teams and so much action going on. There's a lot of things that other organizations and esports in general could learn from the grid. And I think Rocket League is doing a really good job with bringing that in day one. That entices a lot of organizations to have control over that type of stuff. The second thing, home and away decals, as well as the opportunity, and this is the big one, to put sponsors on those decals in game. If I have an away kit and I'm Rogue and I can put an insurance company and put their logo in game for people to purchase and buy that I have rev share on, that organization is going to go, you're going to do what? You're going to put our name on your car in game with actual, like, think NASCAR and all these other high prolific racing scenes, whether it be IRL or in video games. How much money some of those sponsors pay to have their logo on the car. And with Rocket League continuously pulling 100,000 plus viewers almost every single broadcast, that is some pretty spicy ad space. That's some really, really important ad space. And it may come time where we start to see requirements when it comes to the players having to use decals. Not the time, I think, just yet. If you want me to do a video on that, let me know in the comments down below. But it's very enticing, not only because the esport has become refined and strict with only 16 teams instead of the 24 or 32 it was in previous, or 20 even in the spring. But you're talking those top 8 teams, those playoff bracket days, those spots are extremely valuable. Not only that, and the value being provided, but you're also seeing on the other side of things, just for Rocket League esports in general, it's doing pretty dang well numbers wise, as well as just in general how successful it's been. Is pretty enticing. It's very exciting as an organization to be in a game that is advertiser friendly. It's easy to understand. It's accessible to like all the things we know and love about Rocket League. I don't need to deep dive and go into the specifics of that and explain the things that people already know about why Rocket League is a wet dream for esports organizations. I'm not talking about terrorists or counter-terrorists or bombs or diffusing stuff. And it's car soccer. It's very, very friendly, but the excitement and the enticing things are there. There's a lot of other reasons why it really is exciting to esports organizations. Let me know if you guys want me to talk about that as well in a video down below. But yeah, it's right now, I think Rocket League as an esport is kind of in it's going to be entering its golden years. It's gotten through all the frustrating things. Things have become refined. Things have cleaned up. Broadcast, for the most part, knows exactly what it wants to accomplish. And as we get back into live stuff, then we can implement the cool B-roll and the interviews and all the fun stuff. But for what they're doing online right now, legitimately one of the best esports you can watch online. And that's coming from someone who's very, very critical about the game. Now, on the other side of things, you see a bunch of organizations coming in. You see 7-figure bids going for top-tier rosters. Those spots are extremely valuable. And that's why you're starting to see that competition coming in. You're seeing a lot more tier 1 organizations. Recently, we saw Misfits and Navi, and you're seeing FaZe come in and a bunch of others. I will not be surprised if we see a bunch of other big names come in, as long as they can pick up rosters that they deem worthy of winning it all. That's where the limitations are going to come in. The teams like TSM, Cloud9, etc. are trying to spend a boatload of money to pick up a top tier roster. But if those rosters are happy with where they're at and are being rewarded for getting in early, why would I take a buyout when I know the long-term benefit is going to be significantly better with sponsorships and everything else? So right now, there is a lot of high-profile teams that are trying to get into Rocket League, and part of the reason why is those spots are valuable, with the format being only 16 teams and going to multiple majors in LAN events, as well as a World Championship. This format really, really benefits not only new teams to get a shot, but it also really makes those spots, again, valuable for the big organizations to get their name and advertising out there. Because at the end of the day, esports is just a marketing tool. It is literally there for you to grow and branch and showcase your product as an organization, whether it be selling merch, decals, etc., or the sponsors that are paying a boatload to be on your jersey, getting your name out there and then getting that cross-pollination. So Rocket League right now, stupid enticing as an organization. It is a wet dream if you are an esports organization. On to part 2, though, the thing that I think is a bit more important, and the reason why I want to have this conversation, is the mentality that needs to come with and change with Rocket League. We gotta suit and tie and professional it up a little bit, and this applies to the grand scheme of things I guess I hope are accomplished. It's kind of my wish list, I guess, for things I hope to see as Rocket League, I assume, will ascend and continue to climb. Number 1 is I think we need to change the mentality surrounding how we view wins and losses. Right now, there's this participation trophy, everybody deserves a blue ribbon kind of nonsense. And people have kind of become pretty soft, ultimately. And that's not to attack anybody in particular. It's just, in general, when I was raised as a kid, you worked hard for what you wanted, and you weren't really given anything. If you wanted to go buy that new fancy phone, you mowed lawns and did work, and then you got it. And like, obviously every family dynamic and situation is different, but like, you had to earn it. It wasn't, hey, this person deserves this because they worked really hard in the, like, no, you got to show the results. And that mentality is also carried through with certain formats, with like people getting upset about like, well, my team got 4 losses and their team only got 2, and we're upset because they got 4 losses but we qualified through uppers. Good, you had to play less games. You won your matches, you progress. And that's kind of the all-encompassing factor is, I don't care what position of bracket you're in, I don't care where you're about or who your opponent is. At the end of the day, Every single regional, every single match, every single thing in this format matters significantly. It's what makes the circuit system so exciting. The fact that if you do poorly like Vitality just did, and we'll talk about a recap on that on Monday, but if you do poorly in a regional, there's a very good chance that you're left out of a major. And if you're left out of majors, the chances of you go to the World Championships are heavily affected. And I don't think that shift has really set in for some of the players, pros, etc. This is your job. This is your career. It is very short-lived in the esports scene. And if you do not grind and practice your ass off, there is going to be someone else who is. There's going to be always new up-and-comers. There's going to be people that are more talented, more skilled than you are. And not understanding, and this is just an over-encompassing generalization. I'm not saying that there aren't players that don't feel this way, or there isn't, or the majority of the scene doesn't feel this way. But this is just a general wake-up call to people on a casual and a massive level that every little thing you do in this matters so much more than it ever has. And that's not to diminish the other seasons as great as they are. But this season, the ability to, if you perform well in a regional or show consistency, which is what every team is striving for, you have the ability to go compete in a major, and there's 3 of them, and they're all pretty much equivalent to world championships of the past. You're doing that 3 times a year. And after all is said and done, and you do that 3 times, 3 regionals major, 3 regionals major, 3 regionals major, if you do well enough, if you show consistency throughout the entire season, both online and offline in high pressure scenarios with competition from 8 different regions, then and only then do you have a chance to go to the World Championship, which again, in a $6 million prize pool, means a great deal. And it feels like not only we as fans can add that seriousness to it, but I do want to see us as a whole stop pulling punches. We need to stop babying things. I understand being professional, and I understand making sure that you tackle things in an appropriate way. But if someone messes up, call it as you see it. If someone whiffs, if someone makes a mistake, if someone is the reason for that goal going in, call it as you see it. Because in order for us to be at that professional level, to be at that next step, we also need to hold each other accountable. Casters, pros, coach, across the board, everybody, myself included. People need to start holding each other accountable, because if we do not, that level of seriousness, that professional kind of flair that we're looking for will not come. You look at how writers and etc. are not afraid to call shots, are not afraid to, you know, maybe cut ties a little bit because of some of the stuff that they're stated. But even when they do that, the professional on the other side still has the ability to remain professional and be civil. And for some reason, people are taking that as a personal attack way too much. I know I talk a lot about football on this channel, even though it's not a football channel. I watch the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, as a former MVP, possibly going to retire, was going to, and is one of the most scrutinized players. No matter what he says or does in an interview, they spin it, and it's good for clicks and views. Does he always take it personally? Maybe. But at the same time, he still can be civil and professional towards those people. And I think with bigger and bigger organizations coming in and kind of bringing us back to the beginning, larger organizations are coming in, a lot more money, a lot more eyes, a lot of things. We as a community, as casters, as content creators, as professional, whatever you want to encompass yourself or what category you want to put yourself in, we as a community need to level up. We need to take that next step when it comes to being an esports scene. And it's going to take myself and everybody else to do it. So with that said, organizations are coming into the RLCS. Rightfully so. Spots are valuable for organizations to grow their branding and for obtaining sponsorships and earning a livelihood. You're also seeing, in my opinion, the mentality shift from holding people accountable and being a little bit more blunt on some things, as well as making sure that we as professionals handle ourselves accordingly. And we all do it for the betterment of the scene, because right now, if you are a Rocket League fan for the pro scene, for the RLCS, for whatever may be, we're all in for a treat the next couple of years here. So I hope you guys are ready for the ride. That's going to wrap it up for this video of Rocket League news related stuff. Just stuff that we kind of ranted about on stream, and hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of conversation. This isn't recaps or roster news or anything like that. That's just more my opinion takes on certain things. If you'd like more videos like this, or if you would like to see things of this nature, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.